All right, guys, welcome back. Sorry for such a delay in some videos. I wanted to kind of come up with a different topic now that we're at the start of riding season. A bunch of questions have been asked about how, I set up to go on long distance rides, and not only just for the Eluder in particular. I've just had a bunch of people just ask me in general, since I do take some decent rides, and they were just curious as to what I do as far as tools and uh, basically just the way that I set it up for riding with two people versus one. So to start out, I basically um, pre-plan my trip as far as, obviously how many days is it, what do I think I'm going to need to make this trip successful, and then I go from there. I designate one of my saddlebags to basically a toolbox, and then my other one is basically anything that I would need during the ride, like snacks or drinks or anything of that nature, things that I can grab at pretty quickly. Anything I don't need, such as clothing and maybe like extra shoes and stuff, things that don't need to be necessarily pulled out until I get to my final destination, will typically go on the back in my big duffel bag that I have, and then I kind of just strap different things down different places depending on what I need. So to start, on my right side saddlebag, I typically turn this into my toolbox. I carry an assortment of different things in there that I may or may not need. My tools rusted out in there. Somehow I have a leak which I got to get fixed in my saddlebag, and so I don't typically use the tools that it comes with, just because I don't feel that they're completely adequate for long rides. But some of the stuff that I do use, so I always have a pair of jumper cables. You can buy these at Cycle Gear if you want. I just found that these fit really well, kind of here in the back. If I can get it to sit in there the way I usually, there we go. So it tucks in there perfect. Some other things that I carry are a pack of 4 ratchet straps with these nice little clips, because they clip into these D-rings real nicely. So then I can pretty much fit. I have a duffel bag that fits the entire width of my rack, and I can put 2 people's worth of clothing in there when my girlfriend rides with me, or when we go on long distances. Plus, then I put like a boot dryer and stuff like that. Anything clothing wise that I don't need, I put on that. So I have a strap that allows me to stack, a couple of bags on top of each other, like for like when I take my camera gear and stuff places as well. And the nice thing is I bought these on Amazon. None of the stuff I was sponsored for. I just found things that I thought were useful and like. But the nice thing is, especially when they're being used, obviously it's not taking up space, but they do tuck in there nicely. And then I bought on Amazon an assortment of different sizes of bungee cords, because not all the time do I feel the need to get straps out. So I usually just carry at least 3 or 4 of these guys. I just take I think these are like the medium size, that I can always just swap out with some different sizes if I need to. But the nice thing is you can pretty much just tuck them about anywhere. So obviously there's 3 things there that I can use, and they take up little to no space. I throw this is a 90-liter rain cover. Fits pretty much over my entire duffel bag, or I could put it over anything else, and it does have clips on it so that it holds tight to whatever the object is that I'm trying to cover up. So I usually keep that with, because sometimes when I'm out and about, if I forget that, to check the weather, and if it were to rain, I at least have something that I can cover up, like maybe my book bag or something like that. I also carry an assortment of fuses. I went through the manual and I opened up the panels that are on the side here. There's a fuse panel in there, and there's also fuses underneath the seat. So I just grabbed an assortment of fuses, and I always keep them on hand no matter where I'm riding. So I just usually take this little bag and just kind of tuck it down at the front. When I'm not riding long distance, I usually just keep the saddlebag open. This stuff usually stays in there just in case I want to throw something, like if I stop at the store and grab some different things, I can always strap it down to the top of the rack here. But I at least have space to put stuff if need be. The tool bag that I put together, I'm not sponsored by Cobalt or anything. I just have a lot of Cobalt tools, and I really like their products. So I bought these little bags for like $5, I think it is, and I take along with me my little torque gun with at least a 4-amp battery in it. Sometimes if I'm going away for a while, I'll just take a 2-amp just to have a little extra for something. They do make an adapter on here that you can plug USBs into them if you need to, so I have one of those as well that I'll throw in the bag. I take this little pack of basically like little pliers, has like little dikes in it and small needle noses, stuff like that, and everything fits in this bag really well. So if I take this guy, throw it in there, let's see here, so they kind of tuck in there nicely. I can take this guy, just kind of tuck it in there. I also carry 2 screwdrivers. Like I said, you can pretty much tuck anything into these guys. I carry a size 5 and a 4 Allen wrench, bits for the torque gun itself. And pretty much just with that battery alone, you could probably tear down the bike and put it back together on one battery, no problem. And those fit pretty much every little piece that you might need that are all body driven. Like I think these are size 4 inside the saddle bags. But yeah, you can pretty much tear apart a lot of the stuff on the bike. I also keep a set of T-handles, 5 and 4, just in case I need to use those by hand, if I can't fit the torque gun in there for some reason, or if I run out of battery, at least I can still tear stuff apart. I keep a size 12 ratchet wrench with me as well. You could take apart or you could take off your brakes, calipers and stuff like that. I'm still kind of just looking around to see if there's anything else that may or may not need to have a size 12, but it seems like this fits a lot of different things that it might need. So all that stuff fits in there nicely. And then I always carry a handful of these little cleaning towels for glasses and the visor and stuff like that. So I just throw them in different places as well. But with this bag, it fits perfectly in the saddle bag. Now I don't carry this all the time. It's only when I'm riding long distance. Let's see if I can get it shut here. All right, so it's not that big of a bag. And if you take it over here, throw it into the saddle bag, it folds up pretty well for the most part. And you still have a bunch of space to stack stuff on top of it as well. I'll put sometimes rain gear on there, but I'm currently getting a bag that I can hang underneath the back rack here that can stuff my rain gear in there and my girlfriend's rain gear in there, so that it's just a quick, easy grab, and it saves space for this. If I'm going for a couple days, I also take a battery tender, just in case. I don't shouldn't need it, but you just never know. But the battery tender I have is super small and kind of tucked down in there, and like I said, there's still enough space there that we can still add a couple extra pieces of gear as well. And then I also carry just a small bottle of anti-fog for whatever reason, and that just kind of tucks down into the front corner of the thing. And these guys you can pretty much throw in the bags, or sometimes I'll tuck them up inside the little pouches up top there. Now as far as suspension goes, before I go to the other side saddlebag, if I'm riding with a full load plus my girlfriend, I go straight to 5. When I get to where I'm going, if I'm riding 2 up, I'm about 4 to 4.5. If I'm riding by myself, I'll go between 3.5 and 4, just depending on what style of riding that I'm doing. But the Allen wrenches are nice. The T-handles, you can stick them right in here, and you can also crank them up and down with those T-handles, and it makes life super easy. And this panel just comes off with that little screw. But you want to make sure you adjust these, especially if you have a lot of weight on the back end. It's going to really kind of save your suspension, but at the same time, it's going to make the ride a lot more comfortable than if you're loaded down with gear. So you can crank that up. I've had about 30 pounds of gear on this rack, on top of all the stuff that I've had in the saddlebags. Like I said, on this side, I'll typically put my girlfriend will carry a small bag with just items like wallets and phone chargers, things like that, things that we can grab at pretty quickly if we need them. I also will put my camera gear and stuff in there, or we'll put snacks and drinks because she'll hand me like a Gatorade while we're riding, because we ride with modular helmets. So that just makes it so much easier for myself, that while we're doing, a 5, 6, 7 hour ride, we usually stop about every hour and a half or so just to kind of stretch, and if it needs to be pushed a little bit more for fuel, we might just go a little bit longer if we feel like we're making some headway. But she can at least grab out a drink if she needs it, or she can grab me out something if I need just a little bit of like a drink of Gatorade or water or something like that. So we set that up as just things that we can grab at, or if we see something while we're out and about, as far as something to stop by, that we've seen something in a small town or whatever, that we can just grab something out pretty quickly. But we can also lock it up when we go into like a store or a gas station, that we don't necessarily feel that more of the personal items can stay in a saddlebag then. Now, as far as the phone charger goes, I always keep this phone charger in here. Haven't had any issues with it raining or not. Doesn't seem like it gets very wet. I did get a fast charger for my phone. I ran the wire up through, and kind of just tucked it in to the back side here. I use the quad lock mount on my phone, which I like way more than the other phone mounts that I've had. Super easy to kind of take on and off. I also bought the dampener for it, just because being a photographer, plus doing these small videos and stuff, I really don't want my camera damaged up, because it was bounced around way too much. As far as these little compartments go, I don't really keep anything in here other than the controller for like my LED lights that I have on the bike, because obviously that's not super important. But if you already own the bike, you already know this compartment does not lock, where the compartment over here is a lockable compartment, but I still don't keep anything of importance in there, just because to me it's just too flimsy for that. I did have a charger on the back for my girlfriend's phone, but it shorted out in the rain. It was one that I bought extra at Gear, that just plugs like into the battery, or you can get one that like connects to the battery tender cable, and it just didn't charge the phone very well, and it would always flag you saying, no, it's slow charging. It would actually kill the battery before it actually charged the battery. So I'm looking into a different option. I do have the cable that plugs right into, that is an OEM factory plug, which I have somewhere. Here we go. And this is actually, you find them more on the Venture, but the plug will fit. It's down behind the saddlebag. But you would like run this into the tour trunk. But I'm going to find a way to put it either on the outside or put it right inside the saddlebag, that she could just run a cable underneath the lid and plug it in, and hopefully not have another issue. And it has a cap on it as well. Down here, I keep my gloves in it. I don't really do too much as far like when we're riding, because I don't know what to put in there, because it's just kind of, shit just falls out of it. So other than that, that's basically how I set my stuff up for when I ride. I just try to make it as super easy and convenient as possible, and at the same time I really don't want to have the problem of not having what I need, but I also like keep a boot dryer and stuff like that in my bag, things that I can take with me, and spare shoes and stuff. But I don't use that stuff until I get to like my hotel or wherever I'm going. And then I could just dry all my stuff out when I get there, and it's super convenient with that rack on the back. I think I am going to do a trunk though, and just kind of modify that, and I'll just strap the bag and everything to the top of the trunk. I'll just reinforce the trunk and the mount so that it can handle the weight on the back end. I think it says the plate's supposed to only it's only good for 10 pounds. I know I've definitely exceeded that. I have not actually tested the weight for sure to see what that is, but I think the longest we've ridden was about 8 hours. We've done about 500 or 600 miles in one day to go somewhere, and it seems to work out really well for us, and especially being able to stack the bags on the back, you can kind of fit more clothing in. It handles it fine. Fuel mileage is great on it, and other than that, I've never seen a problem, with all that weight on it, plus her and myself. With rain gear, we and stuff, I'm just kind of finding different places to put things, but it handles all of that weight really, really well, and we've had a blast doing it so far. So if you have any questions, please comment. I don't think there's any right answers or wrong answers for how people set up their bikes. I think it's all, it's obviously a subjective thing, and I think other guys have good ideas, or some that I just don't know if they're the greatest ideas, but it's one of those things that it's great to be able to have a discussion on it and kind of come up with some neat different ideas. And so I hope this video kind of helps out. Like I said, comment, discuss the way you set your bike up, and I'd enjoy to read some of those and have some discussion. All right, thanks for watching.